So the latest in Rafah is that we're moving forward with our mission, as stated from day one of the war, to destroy Hamas, to bring home the hostages, and to ensure that Gaza doesn't pose a threat to us ever again. It is a limited operation at the moment, coming in from the east of Rafah. We've taken over, at least temporarily, the Gazan side of the Rafah crossing, which is, of course, where Hamas for years, for 16 years, has been smuggling everything from heavy weaponry to drugs to luxury cars. That was really their that was how they were making money. They were bringing in everything and anything, selling it at a huge margin to their own people, and making money for their terror activities. We've stopped that, and we are plowing on to destroy, as you said, the last four Hamas battalions, and to reach our war aims.
How likely do you think is a full ground offensive? We understand that Minister Gallant has been talking to Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, and explaining the precise nature of the operation as it stands. What is the likelihood of something more akin to what we saw at the start of the Israeli response to the October 7th terror attacks, something that really is more of a major ground offensive?
So you'll appreciate that I can't share military plans or anything like that. I mean, we go over the top as far as an army is concerned by warning civilians to get out of harm's way. We lose the element of surprise in that sense by leafleting, sending people text messages, making announcements on the media in Arabic to let people know where we're coming. But I can't go as far as to say what the next stage will look like. What I will say is that we have to destroy the last four Hamas battalions, and we will do that at the time of our choosing in the best possible way to go after Hamas and to avoid civilian casualties, as we've done until now.
Now, the key leaders of Hamas, particularly Yahya Sinwar, are still living and breathing as far as we know. There's been some reports that the Americans wanted to trade some intel in terms of attempting to dissuade Israel from a full invasion of Rafah. What is the feeling towards that? And also, how concerned has Israel been by what appears to be a slight strain in the relationship with the US and this pause of some weapons to the supply chain?
So, like my prime minister has said, he has had a long, strong relationship with the president of the United States, President Biden, for going on over 40 years, as far as I understand. And obviously, through those 40 years, there's been agreements and disagreements on an array of things. I would hope that any daylight, as people like to call it, will be taken care of very soon. If there's a disagreement of any kind, that we can come to some kind of an agreement on that. We have the capabilities and the munitions to finish the job, to finish those last four Hamas battalions. We are an independent democratic state. We have a right to our citizens to finish the job. As so many soldiers have come back from the front and told me that's what needs to be done. We are commemorating today Israel's Memorial Day, where we mark all of those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. And this year we really saw what that meant. Now, we can't allow a situation, a scenario by which Hamas is allowed, through ceasefire or any other agreement, is allowed to stay in power, to take over Gaza again, and to perpetrate October 7th again and again and again, which is what they want to do. So we will continue closed door discussions with the Americans. Any discussions on intel or anything like that need to stay behind closed doors, or that's not very effective intel. So we will continue those discussions, and we will continue with our mission to destroy Hamas, bring home the hostages, and ensure that Gaza doesn't pose a threat to us.
And you're confident that the leaders of Hamas, including Yahya Sinwar, are dead men walking?
My Prime Minister has said for some time that they are well within our sights, that they are, like you said, dead men walking. These are the people that perpetrated the unthinkable atrocities of October 7th. I wouldn't want to live in a world by which people can come, plow through your borders, rape women, kill young girls in front of their parents, burn entire families alive, and get off scot-free. That won't be happening. We will continue to go after Hamas and destroy them and ensure a better future for the people of Gaza and the people of Israel.
Gaza isn't the only front that is of concern right now. Latest from the Lebanese border is that some soldiers have been wounded by Lebanese anti-tank missiles. Rockets are a threat to northern towns. How concerned are you by the threat of Hezbollah at the moment?
So there's been, from the beginning of the war, there's been a lot of focus, understandably, on Gaza. But what many people forget is that October 7th, Hamas death squads plowed through our borders. October 8th, Hezbollah started firing rockets at us. So they could have sat this one out, but Hezbollah chose, as another Iranian proxy, just like Hamas, they chose to get involved and to fire at us, and we returned fire and we pushed them back. And it's been going on like this for some time. If they choose to escalate, we'll have to escalate. And if they turn down the pressure slightly, then we'll turn down the pressure. But ultimately, the conflict with Hezbollah could stop tomorrow if they just adhered to UN Security Council Resolution 1701, got behind the Litani River and stopped firing at us. Then there could be some kind of a diplomatic understanding there. If not, they're playing war games, and it might turn up.
By might turn up, what do you mean specifically?
I mean the volume of the intensity of the war between us and Hezbollah might have to increase if Hezbollah so chooses. And it doesn't help that they're day in, day out firing against our civilians. We, as the government of Israel, have a responsibility to our people, 60,000 of which are displaced from their home, internally displaced within their country, because they can't live in their homes and be pounded by Hezbollah rockets day in, day out. We need a resolution, whether it's a military resolution or a diplomatic resolution. Now, diplomatic resolution isn't looking very close, but we will continue to explore it. And if we need to increase the military pressure on them, we will.
The military operations that Israel are involved in have a sad but inevitable rise in anti-Semitism around the world. How concerned were you about the treatment of Israeli Eurovision singer Eden Golan, but how encouraged were you that so many around the world appeared to have supported her?
Eden Golan is a national hero. Our Eurovision contestant is a national hero. Her song Hurricane brought many Israelis to tears. It obviously echoed that awful day on the October 7th when innocent Israelis were just having a good time, letting their hair down at the Nova Festival, music festival, when Hamas death squads came in and plowed hundreds down. The pushback, the protests, and the absolute venom coming out of so many of the other contestants, and the support for a genocidal terror organization against a free and vibrant democracy was appalling. But this is the oldest hate, the hate of the Jews. It knows no explanation, and they don't need to explain anything to us. They hate us. Well, we established our own free state, and we live proudly and strongly in our state, and we will protect it. In my humble opinion, Eden should have won. The people were with her across Europe, and the judges fell to the sidelines of anti-Semitism. But unfortunately, we have much bigger fish to fry than the Eurovision Song Contest, and we will continue on with our war aims to destroy Hamas, bring home the hostages, and ensure that Gaza doesn't pose a threat to us anymore.